What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of a hardware store? Well, if you're like me, you think of tools. Hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches, saws. Hand tools are a big part of what makes shopping at hardware stores and home centers so much fun. In this segment, we're going to take a look at some of the most common hand tools. Now, one of the most popular types of hand tools is the claw hammer. We all know what hammers in their most basic form are used for: forcing nails into wood or other materials. Now, there are two basic claw hammer types. A curved claw hammer is most often used for general carpentry and household chores. The curved claw offers leverage in removing nails. Now, a straight claw hammer, or ripping claw hammer as it's sometimes called, is more likely to be used by professionals to rip apart nailed components. It's often used for heavier carpentry and framing. Now, certain heavy-duty models feature a milled or checkered face for greater control and to reduce the chance of slipping off the nail head. Both claw hammer types come in different weights for different applications. A specialized type of nail-driving hammer is the hand-drilling hammer. These hammers weigh 2 to 4 pounds and deliver a powerful punch. They have short handles and are recommended for pounding hardened nails into concrete. They're also used in combination with other tools that drive nails and pins into concrete or brick. There are also several other types of hammers, some of which have nothing to do with driving nails. For instance, ball-peen hammers are used to strike cold chisels for cutting and chipping wood. They're designed with a regular striking face on one end and a rounded or half ball or peen on the other end that's used for metal forming. A wide variety of specialty hammers are also available. Your tool department may stock riveting hammers, chipping hammers, brick hammers, tile hammers, even drywall and soft-face hammers. And no tool department would be complete without sledgehammers. Another common type of tool is a wrench. Now, there are two main wrench classifications: general use and plumbing. Wrenches are mainly used to hold and turn nuts, bolts, screws, plugs, or other threaded parts. It's important that the opening of the wrench fit the fastener completely. Otherwise, the fastener can be stripped or otherwise damaged. Box end wrenches have enclosed heads and completely enclose the nut to provide more leverage. Some box end wrench handles are offset to provide knuckle room and clearance over obstructions. Combination wrenches have one box end and one open end. Both ends are usually the same size. Combination wrenches are some of the most popular wrenches. Adjustable or crescent wrenches have an open end that can be adjusted to fit various nut sizes. Pipe or Stilson wrenches are used to screw pipes into elbows or other threaded parts. The jaws actually bite into the surface to hold the pipe as it's turned. Socket wrenches tighten or loosen nuts and bolts faster and easier than conventional wrenches. Their unique design secures the socket and releases easily. Now, the next hand tools we'll look at, pliers, are similar to wrenches in that they're designed to hold, turn, and cut objects. Pliers fall into two broad categories: solid joint and slip joint. Solid joint pliers have a joint fixed with a solid pin or rivet. Slip joint pliers let the user adjust the tool to the size of the object being held. They come in two designs: multiple hole pliers and tongue and groove pliers. Tongue and groove pliers have up to 8 adjustments and are available with straight or curved jaws. Cutting pliers come in side, end, or diagonal types. Side cutters have a cutting blade on one side only. End cutters have cutting blades on the end and are used to make sharp, clean cuts close to the surface on wires, nails, bolts, and rivets. Diagonal cutters have 2 cutting blades set diagonally to the joint and handles. Now, some cutting pliers are made with a spring in the handle to open them automatically after each cut, providing ease and comfort for the user. Locking pliers, also called vice grips, are among the most versatile hand tools found in the home or workshop. Their jaws can be locked in a holding position with pressure up to 1 ton. Many locking pliers have a wire cutting feature. Other types of pliers commonly found in hardware stores and home centers include thin jaw slip joint pliers, wire stripper pliers, needle nose pliers, end cutting nippers, lineman pliers, and fence pliers. Now let's turn our attention to screwdrivers. Screwdrivers are generally classified as slotted, Phillips head, or Robertson, and all 3 types are available with round or square shanks. Now, to understand the differences among screwdrivers, you need to be able to recognize the wide range of screwdriver tips. Regular or slotted tips are used with large, heavy screws. The tip is flared so it's wider than the driver bar. Cabinet tips are similar to regular tips, but they're not flared. They're intended for use with small screws and countersinking screws in applications where a regular flared tip would mar the material. Phillips head screwdrivers are used on cross-slotted screw heads that have modified U-shaped or V-shaped slots of uniform width. Square-tipped or Robertson screwdrivers have become more common in recent years due to the increasing popularity of do-it-yourself decking projects. This type of screwdriver has a square head that grips the screw on all four sides for maximum torque. Hex tips are most often used in electronics repair work. They're used to tighten socket set screws and usually come in sets. Torx tips have 6 drive surfaces and are very popular in the automotive industry. Some screwdrivers are designed with magnetized tips, which are convenient when guiding screws into holes or hard-to-reach areas, or when you need to retrieve dropped fasteners. The final type of tool we'll cover in this segment is hand saws. Hand saws feature a wide variety of handle styles, but the 3 most common are pistol grip, closed handle, and straight handle. Pistol grip handles are used primarily on smaller saws that have thinner blades. Closed handles are usually seen on larger saws. They lend additional support to the larger blades. Drywall saws and other small-bladed saws often have straight handles that are in line with the saw blade. The fineness of a hand saw's cut depends on the number of cutting teeth per inch as well as tooth shape. The higher the number of cutting teeth per inch, the finer the cut. Now let's quickly review some of the most common types of hand saws. Rip saws are used to cut boards quickly, usually lengthwise. The ripping action of the saw and the lower tooth count produce a coarse, ragged cut, so you should never use a rip saw for finishing work. Crosscut saws are designed for cutting across the grain of the wood. Now, the most commonly used crosscut saws are 10 to 12 point for fine work and 7 to 8 point for faster cutting. Hacksaws are fine-tooth saws designed to cut metal or plastic. Hacksaw blades come in several tooth designs. To select the proper hacksaw blade, find out what material needs to be cut, then suggest a blade that has at least 3 teeth in contact with the material at all times. Compass saws have blades that taper nearly to a point to fit into small spaces. They're used to cut curved or straight-sided holes. Keyhole saws are basically small compass saws with finer teeth that can cut metal. Coping saws cut irregular shapes and intricate patterns and are often used to make interior cuts. To make an interior cut, you first need to drill a small hole, then you thread the blade through and attach it to the frame. Back saws provide precision cutting and are used with miter boxes, which help cut exact angles for wood trim and rafters. Pull saws, also called Japanese saws, cut on the pull stroke. This method of cutting eliminates blade buckling and bending. Thinner blades allow easier starts and faster, cleaner cuts with less energy expended. Now that you have a good understanding of the different types of hand tools available, let's turn our attention to hand tool safety. First, it's very important to always use the appropriate tool for the job. Pliers aren't hammers, screwdrivers aren't pry bars, and a toolbox is definitely not an anvil. Never ever use any hand tool for an application that it wasn't designed to handle. Second, it's very important to visually inspect hand tools for chips or cracks before using them. Always check the handles to make sure they're firmly attached. Never use a tool that has a chip, crack, broken handle, or any other structural defect. And third, when using any type of hand tool, be slow and deliberate about it. When accidents or mistakes happen, it's usually when the user rushes through the application.